The Wrestle Ramble is proudly partnered with Dubby Energy. Dubby is a fast-growing energy formula designed to give you laser focus without the jitters or crash. Whether you're a gamer, content creator, or just in need of an energy boost, Dubby has you covered. Visit dubby.gg and use code WrestleRamble to save 10% off your order at checkout. A special thank you again to Dubby Energy for partnering with us here at the Wrestle Ramble.
War Raiders are dressed as Clash of Clan characters, and that's why they lost. Pat starts naming characters and stats, Hog Rider and all, and Wade comes in and says, "Did you just say you put armor on your pecker?" Hello and welcome to the Wrestle Ramble, the podcast that discusses WCW in the year 2000. I am your host, Angelus Walker, better known as Cyber Angelus X over on YouTube, but you can call me AJ for short. Now, today's episode, we are actually not going to be discussing WCW. Now, there's a reason for that. I actually had a Nitro episode that I was planning to get out, but I recorded it. The audio file ended up getting corrupted. I recorded it again, and for some reason, it ended up getting corrupted yet again. So instead of recording Nitro for a third time, I figured I would switch it up a little bit, kind of change it up here and there. And, we really focus on WCW for the most part here on the podcast, but the episode before with Elimination Chamber was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed talking about modern day WWE and even to a little bit of an extent AEW, but I won't really cover them too much. I might, you never know what will happen. You never know, depending on how good they get, because right now, it's not looking too good. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to change it up a little bit, and because I had fun with the last WWE episode that I recorded, I wanted to have another one where I sat down and, well, there was no better episode to really start it off with than Wrestlemania. And so in today's episode, we are actually going to be discussing night one of Wrestlemania from last month. And what perfect time to sit here and talk about it than on the night of Backlash. And in the main event, I'm pretty sure it's John Cena versus Randy Orton, last time ever, they're saying, for the WWE Championship. And so I haven't really been able to keep up with SmackDown too much these past couple weeks because I was having an issue with YouTube TV where I couldn't log in, and so I was missing out on those episodes, and I was also missing out on Dynamite, but I'm going back through those and getting caught up on those. So I'm running a little bit behind with SmackDown, but I have been watching Raw, so I am a little bit up to date. So there's no better time to go back and revisit what happened at WrestleMania than on the night that we're going to see the fallout of that. And so go ahead and grab those cold ones, ladies and gentlemen, because I had to go and grab me a cold one. I hadn't had any energy all day. I had to go and get myself something to add some pep in my step. So go ahead and grab those cold ones, ladies and gentlemen. Pop one open, because Saturdays are for the boys. Backlash is for the boys. And with that being said, let's jump into night one of WrestleMania 41. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. I went and grabbed one of those coconut Red Bulls. Man, that's some good stuff right there. But I'm going to pull up my notes here real quick. And today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I did actually just get done watching Wrestlemania a couple of minutes ago, right before I went and grabbed a snack. Just something to give me a little bit of energy while I'm going through and doing this, because I really wanted to get this episode out for tonight's show. And as I said, there's no better time to do that. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into WrestleMania. Man, it was a really good show. I really enjoyed everything I saw on the show. All of the matches were really fun. Really, the only match that I was kind of like, this is okay, was the New Day Viking Raiders. Is that what they're called? Viking Raiders, War Machine, whatever. That was really the only match where I thought it was like, okay. Everything else though, I really enjoyed. From the beginning of the card all the way down to the end, and we're going to start at the top and we're going to run down. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the heavyweight championship. That was really fun. Seeing how Jey Uso changed his character over the last couple of weeks, kind of being a little bit darker, being a little bit more serious, not yeeting and joking all the time leading up to that match. But, as we have seen in the episodes afterwards, he is pretty much back to his old yeeting ways, if you know what I mean, and you know what I'm saying. But it was cool to see that little transition that he went through. It actually kind of reminded me of Cody Rhodes when he dyed his hair black in AEW whenever he had that match with Brody Lee. And so a little bit of a change to the character, and he stood toe-to-toe with Gunther. Gunther! He stood toe-to-toe with him. But it was a good match. I really enjoyed it. Man, Jay came out with the cheerleaders and then the big yeet flags coming through the crowd. That was really cool. Really fun entrance. They do be yeeting, that's for sure. Gunther just came out and he was doing his Gunther shtick. He is the ring general. He's an ass kicker personified, that's for sure. And he gave some good chops to Jay in this match. The chop that Jay took while he was sitting on the top turnbuckle was gnarly. Gunther, Gunther has had some really good chop moments, not only in the Fed, because I still think back to the chop that he gave Adam Cole in NXT. That just absolutely reverberated through Full Sail, I think they were at the time. And the chop where I think it actually broke the commentary table whenever he was facing Tommaso Ciampa, also in NXT. So he's got some power behind them chops. They look like they hurt. I wouldn't exactly be in a rush to take them. I'm just saying. What I will be in a rush to get, though, is one of these cameras, because god damn, let me tell you, the camera quality for the Fed has improved so much over these past couple years. It's insane. And the drones, oh my god, the freaking drones are so cool. More companies need to start using drones. I'm just saying. It's so freaking cool. And I don't think that I've really seen any other company aside from TNA and AML here in North Carolina really use any drones for these wrestling shows. We need more drones, man. Sick angles. It is so clean. Absolutely love that. This match and Jay's first title defense against Seth from, I think it was this past Monday Night on Raw, or maybe 2 weeks or so ago. I don't know. Time is an illusion. Both matches have been really good. I have enjoyed both of those, and Jey has put on some stellar performances in both matches. I think he is really coming into that main event character. I mean, obviously, he had the nickname before, but especially with what happened to Jimmy and adding that bit of extra mean streak, finally knocking off Gunther at WrestleMania and winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Between all of that, his previous win with the Intercontinental Championship, honestly, really since he came to Raw, and gotta throw in the Rumble win, obviously, Jey has slowly but surely, like I said, he's been adopting, he's been coming into that main event role a lot more, and it's really good to see, and it's so fun to see how much he has changed from whenever he left SmackDown with all that drama going on with the Bloodline up until now with the World Heavyweight Championship. And I have to check the card to see, because I'm not actually sure if the World Championship is being defended tonight on Backlash. I have to check that out and see. But one thing that I did like with this match was Jey using some of Gunther's own moves, like the power bomb, and then obviously the sleeper hold in the end. It was a really good touch. I really enjoyed that. 3 splashes later and a sleeper hold, and we are yeeting in Las Vegas, boys. We have a new heavyweight champion, and man, that was really good to see. But I actually kind of got spoiled on this. See, what had happened was me and my fiance, we actually went up to the mountains to do our engagement pictures. And so I didn't watch night 1 of WrestleMania. And at the end of the night, I completely forgot. I did good for the entire day, but it was the end of the night. I had a lapse in judgment. I opened Facebook, and first post was Jey Uso standing on top of the commentary table holding the World Championship. And I was like, fuck. I did not want to be spoiled on this show. But it was okay. It was okay. I wasn't mad or anything. That was the only snippet that I saw, and as soon as I had an idea of what it was, I closed it, and I was like, nope. Mistakes were made. But luckily, it was just the first match, and so I wasn't too concerned. But it was good to see that he had finally won the heavyweight championship, and I'm really interested to see how long he actually goes with the World Heavyweight Championship, considering the Intercontinental Championship reign didn't last too long, which kind of stunk. So I hope they do give him a little bit of a longer run with the World Heavyweight Championship, at least until about SummerSlam or so. If you want to take it off of him then, cool. If not, I'm also good with that. But it is really good to see Jey with the Heavyweight Championship, and I really hope that he has a pretty good and lengthy championship run. When he was making his way back up into the crowd, though, there was one lady that was behind him, and she really loved him, apparently. Next match on the card, though, was New Day versus the War Raiders, and man, I gotta tell you, I am not a fan of the New Day's music. I'm not a fan of it. I haven't been a fan of it since I first heard of it. I'm not gonna be a fan of it. It fucking sucks, if we are being quite honest. I don't know where we went wrong here. This ain't it, Chief. Similar to Naomi's new music, that ain't it, Chief. Let me just tell you. I don't know what you were thinking, but you weren't thinking right. I can tell you that, friend. And whoever decided that this should be their new music, you're wrong. Let me just tell you. So New Day comes out, War Raiders come out. War Raiders are dressed as Clash of Clan characters, and That's why they lost. Pat starts naming characters and stats, Hog Rider and all, and Wade comes in and says, "Did you just say you put armor on your pecker?" And then there's an awkward silence for like 20 seconds. Gotta love it, folks. Next up, Ivar. Okay, I have to remember this because in my notes, I still refer to them as War Machine, so Hanson and Rowe. And so in my notes, I have them labeled as Hanson and Rowe. So Ivar, he smashes both dudes into... Pause. He smashes both dudes into the LED ring board, you know, with that running cross body that he does on the outside, where he just flattens whoever like a fucking pancake. Hold on, I lost where I was in my notes. There we go. New Day, throughout this match, they really tried to target the injured necks of, I almost called them Hanson and Rowe, Eric and Ivar, because of the well-documented neck issues that they have from the past. Obviously, it's from the fucking past. What am I saying? They focus a lot on their necks in this match. New Day, you know, they're tag team specialists. They're doing their thing. They're taking to the champs in this matchup. At one point, the moonsault that Kofi Kingston took to his knees from Ivar had to fucking suck. Xavier Woods came in with an elbow for the breakup, which was actually pretty cool. I really enjoyed the shot that they had for that. The knee that Eric does to the back of the shoulders or the neck or whatever, that has got to suck ass so much. Eric knees Woods in the fucking face, like mercilessly, just right in his shit, just kneecap, wapow, straight in the face, and then yells at him. Arrgh. They set up for War Machine, and so Ivar is going to bounce off the ropes how he usually does, and Kofi grabs at his feet. He loses his balance, and he falls. A double foot stomp they call Daylight on commentary is hit by the New Day. That is a horrible fucking name. Please change it. That ain't it, Chief. Let me just tell you. That's not it. Okay? Midnight Hour or whatever it was, the name of their finisher before, that was a lot better. Not by much, but it was a little bit better. This, just go, Daylight. Okay, there it is. Daylight. Yeah. Okay. So they hit Daylight, and Kofi Kingston gets out of the ring. Xavier Woods goes into the pinfall on Ivar. And Kofi Kingston holds the foot of Ivar on the outside, so he won't be able to kick out. And we have new World Tag Team Champions. And I think they said on commentary that that was their 13th, 14th tag team title, which, God almighty, that is impressive as hell. And they hightail it up the ramp. Like, if you could put the Scooby-Doo running sound effect on this, that would absolutely be hilarious. Somebody should do that. And you know what? I will spread the word. We need that in our lives as a meme, okay? I need that in my life as a meme. Woo! That's some good-ass Red Bull. That coconut berry, man. I need to be sponsored by Red Bull. So coming up next is Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Naomi comes out dressed as a road sign and with some whack-ass music, so I don't know what's happening here. We then transition into the Cargill weather report, and a storm is indeed brewing. She makes her way out to the ring, and she is also quite indecisive with her hair. But this week she has decided that she wants to go for the shorter haircut. Naomi decides to go for a blockbuster at one point in the matchup, but Jade actually catches her in a suplex position and nails a jackhammer, and that was cool as shit, man. Oh my god, that was so cool. But it doesn't stop there, because Naomi also tried to go for a crossbody from the second rope, and she gets caught again. She gets caught and she gets tossed away like a sack of hot rocks into a fall away slam. And then we get a kip up from Jade Cargill. And so she's here to show up and show out. Let's just call it what it is. This was actually a pretty fun match. And Naomi also hit an X Factor on the outside at one point in the matchup. She had Jade draped across, like she had her legs on the apron, and so her midsection and upper body was just kind of hovering over the ground, and just fucking spits her ass face first on the floor. And it had a sick thud to it. Like it was one of those good sounding thuds. You know, one of those, like how the WCW ring just had that good sound effect to it whenever somebody would hit it. This, similar vibes. It was a good ass just on the outside. Jade on the top rope at one point. No idea what she was looking for here, but Naomi comes up and she hits kind of a handspring bulldog almost. It was crazy as shit off of the top rope. She then goes into a split leg moonsault, but it only gets a 2 count. Absolutely crazy. I don't know how the hell Naomi did that, but they had some good they had some good moments in this match. This was actually probably you know what? I'm going to say that I actually like this match a lot more than I like the Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte match. But we'll get to that here in a bit. But I think I like this just a little bit more. So Jade Cargill then lost where I was. Hold on, honey. Jade Cargill then Jade Cargill goes for Jaded, but it gets reversed into the Rings of Saturn by Naomi, which was impressive as hell. That was really clean by Naomi. That was chef's kiss. Cargill is able to get back up to her feet, though, and she's holding Naomi in the fireman's carry position, so incredible strength by Jade, coming back up to a vertical base, holding a whole fucking person, like, Jesus Christ. So they kind of rustle around for a second. Jade eventually gets Naomi in electric chair position, but she kind of tosses her up and twists her around and catches her coming down into a nasty looking power bomb. Like, oh my God. I was first watching this whenever we were making our way back from the mountains. Woo! God damn. She fucked her up. But from that nasty looking power bomb, we're not done, because Jade picks her up, hit to Jaded, and gets the 3 count. That was a fun match. Really enjoyed that one. Next up, we get the Samoan Werewolf versus LA Knight for the United States Heavyweight Championship, and Jacob Fatu's theme is a fucking bop, and you cannot tell me it is not. He comes out here, werewolf mask and all. Solo Sikoa is in the clean white suit. He's coming out here shaking his tail feathery, showing him what he's got. He's ready to go. Jacob Fatu is here to fuck some shit up and take the United States Championship. LA Knight comes out in an expensive ass looking car. I forgot what kind of car it was because there were a lot of vehicles here tonight on this show. Charlotte also came out in a nice car, and Stone Cold had the ATV on the next show. There's so many vehicles. Wasn't there somebody else? I think there might have been somebody else. I don't know. So, LA Knight makes his way out to the ring. Crowd's going crazy for him. They love him here in Vegas. The wide shot while they're doing the ad is absolutely crazy. Like, seeing all the people that was in attendance, and then we actually get the attendance record later on tonight. It was 61,000, Shawn Michaels said. God, can you imagine trying to get back to your hotel room after WrestleMania? Oh my God. That's an experience. That I don't know if it's not a good experience. Let me just say, I don't think that's going to be a good experience at all, especially for something that size. 61,000 people. Sorry if you hear any background noise. Somebody's muffler or lack thereof here in my neighborhood. Kind of jealous. You know, I'm trying to do some improvements on my car, but we'll talk about that here another time. Yeah, God, that has to be a nightmare trying to get back to your hotel room after WrestleMania with the sheer amount of people that show up for these shows. Like, it is insane, man. But for this matchup, Jacob Fatu pretty much had an answer for everything LA Knight did. God, I almost said Eli Drake. It's similar to what I said with War Machine and how I have them labeled as Hanson, Rowe, War Machine in my notes. I have LA Knight labeled as Eli Drake. That's just what I knew them as whenever I first started watching them, and that's what I've called them for the most part. So, it's old habits die hard. Okay. So, LA Drake? What? LA Knight. God almighty. LA Knight he leaps to the top of the turnbuckle, suplexes Jacob Fatu off, and anytime he does that, anytime anyone does that, because Shelton Benjamin does the same thing, anytime they just leap to the fucking rope, how do you do that, man? The level of athleticism is off the charts. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Jacob goes for the moonsault and gets caught in a BFT. That was cool. That was absolutely cool. And I wish we could have saw another angle of that, because man, that was almost as clean as some RKOs. But 2 moonsaults later, and we've got a new United States Heavyweight Champion and the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. Congratulations to him. I want to see who he's going to defend the championship against tonight, if he is. We'll see. I have to look up the card, and I actually might do that here in a second. But next up, we are getting Chad versus Ray. No, not that Ray. It's Grande Americano. God almighty, this is so stupid. Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix. I have to specify which Ray. Grande Americano is making his way out to the ring, and there are filters, and there are Gulf of Americas, and Sasquatch talk, and I am confused. Ray comes out walking like he's drunk or some shit. I have no idea what was happening here. And then we see Vikingo in the crowd. And so you want to talk about somebody being caught off guard. okay? I was caught off guard because, again, I first watched this and we were making our way back from the mountains. And so I'm on the road and I'm hearing this information. So Vikingo is in the crowd, and not only is Vikingo in the crowd, they announce the acquisition of AAA. I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, this is insane. And I don't think that we are really going to start to fully understand and comprehend how big this is and the magnifications of this until so much further down the line. And they've already announced a Worlds Collide show that's going to be happening like next month, I think. I am absolutely going to be watching that. And it's funny. It's funny that they have this acquisition for AAA, because I was actually starting to watch AAA because, I mean, you know, I've watched it here and there over the years for the past probably 6 years or so. You know, I've watched maybe 2 Triple Manias here and there. I've seen a couple of AAA episodes. You know, I don't really keep up with it too much, but late last year, you know, I found myself putting on a few episodes here and there, and, you know, I was starting to like what I saw. And as I said, you know, I don't really watch it too much, but the little bit that I did see, I thought, this is pretty good. I'm gonna actually set this to record so I have a couple of episodes to watch. And so I just think it's funny that I was actually getting into AAA last year, and now they announced that they have acquired AAA. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Like, are we gonna have NXT Mexico? Like, what's gonna happen here? Are we gonna see Vikingo and like Psycho Clown and Blue Demon Jr. come over from AAA and maybe make an appearance in the Fed? Maybe Killer Cross goes back to AAA. That would be really cool to see. And just think of some of the matchups that we could have. Like, imagine the Lucha Bros versus the Usos for the AAA Tag Team Championships at Triple Mania. Oh my God, that would slap so hard. Like, this is such a crazy time for the Fed, and they are taking over everything. Literally everything. My fiance said that she's seen the Slim Jim stuff whenever she was at the filling station not too long ago. They're on the C4 cans. They have partnerships with other companies. You know, they're acquiring other companies. They are partnered with MMA companies. They're in allegiances with football leagues. Like, it's crazy, man. It is crazy. We are name dropping other wrestling companies on WWE TV. We have announced the acquisition of another wrestling company on the, like, this is insane. And it has been so fun for me to cover. WWE has been fun to cover again. And man, it is just, it's kind of cool to see what's happening, but it's also a little bit worrisome to see what's happening, because with this acquisition, it really just kind of sends those tingle in my loins and just makes me remember how the British indie wrestling scene was kind of gutted a couple of years ago whenever they started up NXT UK. And, well, we see NXT UK ain't really around no more. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm also a little bit concerned. We'll see. We will see. But in the meantime, this acquisition with AAA, holy shit. The possibilities, man, just the possibilities. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see where that goes. And it's just a good time to be a wrestling fan. It's a good time to be in wrestling right now. And that warms my soul to say. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm so sorry. That was a whole ramble that just came out of nowhere. Vikingo was in the crowd. AAA has been acquired. That's insane fucking news. Dana White is also in the crowd. He's here just hanging, chilling. I've also been trying to get into UFC. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not the biggest MMA fan. The little bit that I did watch a couple years ago, I was more of a Pride FC guy. But UFC is okay. I don't mind it too much. I've been getting into it slowly but surely. But more than anything, I think it was probably because of me getting into boxing, which also kind of led me to revisit MMA and take a second look at that and say, hey, I don't really mind this. This is pretty cool. Phoenix, though. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Next shot, we see Grande Americano in the face of Vikingo, and he actually shoves him, but Vikingo is not going to stand for any of that shit. And Vikingo actually hits an enziguri on Grande Americano, and he staggers back to the ring. And throughout this match, really, the tagline, I would say, is Phoenix is just so much fun to watch. And I've been watching Phoenix for, almost 10 years now, because I first saw him in Lucha Underground. And just seeing his work there was absolutely fantastic. And then seeing what he can do in AEW, what that also led me to check out some of his AAA stuff. And yeah, he's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to be a lot of fun for some people that have not really ventured too much outside of the WWE and they're not really too familiar with him. They are absolutely in for a treat with some of the offense that Phoenix has to offer because, man, some of the things I saw him do in Lucha Underground, he's a lot of fun, man. He is a whole lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see him and Penta finally tag up and we get the Lucha Bros on WWE TV. Hell, the Lucha Bros, oh my God. Picture this. Triple Mania, Motor City Machine Guns versus the Lucha Brothers versus the Usos. You could do title for title if you wanted to. Oh my God, that would slap so hard. Book it. That would sell tickets so fast. Like, I would fly my ass out there. That would be a good ass match, let me tell you. Woo! Hey, you feel free to roll with that one, I'm just saying. That'll put some butts in the seats real quick. And Cole actually mentioned Lucha Underground at one point, and it still throws me off that they actually name drop other places, because I was actually watching a SmackDown episode earlier today, just trying to get caught up on some of the episodes that I missed. And it was the Seattle episode, and Cody actually name-dropped Defy, and it just kind of caught me off guard. Like, we've heard so many other promotions mentioned on TV. Lucha Underground, Defy, NWA. Obviously, they have the partnership with TNA. They're going to mention them. The newly acquired AAA. Man, good times. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Grande Americano hits a backwards 450. At least I think that's what that was. It was fucking sick, whatever it was. It was cool as shit, but it looked like it kind of hurt him a little bit too. Later on in the match, towards the end, he actually loads up that metal plate that he's been using on Monday Night Raw for the past couple of weeks. So, to no surprise there, we know how this is going to go. Phoenix hits the running rope kick. I think he calls that bye amigo or goodbye amigo or some shit like that. So he kicks the shit out of Grande Americano, but because he has put that metal plate right smack dab in the center of his fucking face, Phoenix ends up kicking the metal plate and ends up injuring himself. From there, Grande Americano locks the ankle lock in, but Phoenix is able to roll through into a pinning predicament, but only gets a 2 count. Phoenix then goes for a springboard, and he just eats a fucking headbutt from Grande Americano. Literally just causes him to go limp, like as soon as he hits it. Grande then goes up to the top rope, hits a diving headbutt, and that's all she wrote for this match. And while the gimmick I'm not the biggest fan of, this match was really good. Really good, and that backwards 450 or whatever it was, hella impressive. That was good shit right there. From there, Vikingo actually slides in to check on Phoenix and to make sure that he's okay. You know, he was looking a little dazed and confused. From that matchup, we go to the press conference, press release. I'm not really sure what this was, but it was Michael Cole announcing that they have acquired AAA, which, as I mentioned before, I think I'm actually going to have a dedicated AAA episode at some point where I just talk about maybe some of the history, you know, leading up to it, obviously, do my homework, find some matches, some shows, and maybe see if I can find a YouTube video or something that could give me a rundown of the AAA history, because I'm not entirely familiar with that. I do know that they had a pretty alright game that came out a number of years ago. AAA Lucha Libre Legends or something like that. I don't remember what the name of it was, but I played it on the Xbox 360, and I remember it ran very similarly to the TNA game, which, oh my word, you know what? I think I might actually have a dedicated episode for that too. The TNA game, holy shit, that is a throwback, because I remember having so much gamer rage on the final match. You face Jeff Jarrett for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and oh my god, it was on the PS2 version, it was like he went into fucking god mode. I swear to the All-Father, I broke at least 3 PlayStation 2 controllers because of that final match alone. I'm going to talk about that at some point here on the podcast. Holy shit, that triggered a memory, and I completely forgot about that game. And I might download that on my Steam Deck just so I have it fresh in my mind, you know. Get that blood boiling again, so that way when I come onto the podcast, it can be real entertaining, real good. And I have a lot of material to work with, because, oh my god, bro, let me tell you, I wanted to kick a small child when I played that last match. I swear. Oh my gosh. Anyway, from there, Shawn Michaels comes out and announces the attendance for night 1. And we are joined here tonight by 61,461 WWE fans. some good ass numbers, let me tell you, man. And they say that it's a sold out show, and that just seems to be the running theme for wrestling nowadays, because the last DCW show that I worked in Raleigh actually had a sellout, which was a really good show. The boys, everyone showed up and showed out for that show. That was a real good time. Had a real lot of fun watching that and being at that show. And I'm actually going to be at another DCW show next weekend, helping out, doing some more videography work. And so if you're in the Selma area, we would love to have you down at the Richard B. Harrison gym. It's absolutely going to be a fantastic time. We would love to have another sold out show, and we can do it with your help. And then the weekend after that, I'm going to be in Winston-Salem doing some work for AML, and that is going to be so much fun too, and I cannot wait to get out there and meet some of the legends in the game and really just be immersed in the environment, man. Like, I love doing all of this and going out to the shows, and it's been so much fun, and I count my blessings all the time that I get to do this. And I'm not in the ring yet, but I've been having a lot of fun with being a cameraman. And as long as these companies will continue to invite me and they enjoy the things that I've been doing, I will happily come out and continue to do everything I can for these shows. So support your local wrestling shows, folks. Go out to those shows. Sell out those shows. All your favorite wrestlers started with these local indie shows, so support your indie wrestling shows. Sell those out. Continue to sell out the Fed. Wrestling is for everyone, baby. It's here to stay, and it's taken over. It's taken over, and you know what else is also taking over? You know who else is also taking over? The celebrities. Oh my God, many celebrities in the crowd here. Holy shit. Crazy. But next up, we are treated to the Women's Championship match. It is time for Charlotte versus Tiffy time. So, Tiffany comes out as a Barbie, because were you expecting anything else? I will admit, while she was making her entrance, and they did this wide shot, and you could see the stage looks fucking awesome. Love the way the stage looks, and they've been doing pretty good with these stages, these WrestleMania stages, these last couple years. I'm not mad at you. Now, if we can just get some of that creativity for some of these other pay-per-view events, yeah, that'd be A1. The boys on commentary, they drink a lot, and I don't know, they have been drinking. You would think they were, but they're just trying to pop each other at this point. We like cars around here, if you didn't know, based off of Eli Drake, or fucking LA Knight and Charlotte. God, I hate that. Charlie is out in the fancy mobile. Cole says on commentary that she's looking for 15 titles, or she is a 15-time world champion, some shit like that, something to that effect. When did her career begin? Like, when did her wrestling career begin? Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna look that up real quick. When did Charlotte Flair's career begin? Because if it began in like 2013, when I think it did, if she's already almost a 15-time world champion, bro, come on now. We're doing live research here on the pod. All right, there we go. When did Charlotte's wrestling career start? Okay, so alongside Rick, she began the journey in the Fed in 2012, signing the developmental contract and debuting in NXT in 2013. Her first televised match in NXT was July 17th, 2013. So you're telling me we laid eyes on Charlotte for the first time in NXT on July 17th, 2013, and you fast forward, 12 years almost, and she's almost a 15-time world champion? What type of malarkey? I have never, bro, look, say what you will, they really just wanted to make her the woman version of Rick. Let's just call it what it is, all right? 15 championships, world championships in this amount of time? Y'all, ain't no way. Come on now. That is some balderdash if I have ever fucking heard it. Oh my God. Anyway, we get another shot with the drone in this matchup during the entrances, and that's chef's fucking kiss. More drones in wrestling, please. So, matchup starts, double leg from Charlotte immediately. We're not wasting any time with this, okay? We are throwing hands immediately. The match goes to the outside literally a couple of minutes in. Like, there was some bad blood with these blondes in this matchup. And it was okay until it was meh. But even still, I feel like I still like the Jade and Naomi match a little bit more. Neither here nor there. So, Charlotte gets sent into the post by Tiffany. We then go back into the ring, and we get Tiffy time chants. Charlotte catches her off guard, though, and, well, Charlotte... What can I say about Charlotte? I have never been the biggest fan of Charlotte. I thought she was okay in the ring. I've never thought that she was as good as, or like as, what do I want to say? She's talented, obviously, but she's not the one as the Fed present her out to be, at least to me. Like, yeah, you know, she had some good matches with, like, Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné or whatever she's going by now. But, you know, Charlotte, she's just never really been one of my favorites. She's never been one of my favorites, and she's always... God, if I could put this in terms from a couple years ago, she was always the female version of Roman Reigns. Like, before Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, whenever he was just being shoved down our throats by Vince, and we were just being told this is the guy, Charlotte was getting that same treatment, but, like, 2 times over. And I'm glad that she's not necessarily getting that same treatment anymore, but even still, all these years later, 12 years on the main roster, or in the WWE in general, and you've won almost 15 titles? Nah, I don't know about all that. But Charlotte hit Stephanie Vaquer's move in this matchup, and you know the one that I'm talking about. Stephanie does it better, and I don't think that Booker T will have the same energy for Charlotte that he does for Stephanie, and I will not either. We then get a kip up by Charlotte, And there is so much pink and blonde in this match. It's pink and blonde overload. Cole says that there have been 2 title changes tonight, but he forgot that Jacob also won the United States Championship. And while I'm watching this matchup, I have a thought. We need to bring back the flash bulbs. And look at the Attitude Era and some of those entrances and tell me they weren't made so much better with the flash bulbs. Like The Rock's entrance, Triple H's entrance, Stone Cold's. They were so much better with the small details like the flash bulb. And if I have the chance and I go to a big enough show, I'm going to bring one of those cameras because I really think that we should start to bring those back. Same way that the crowd signs have started to come back. You know, there was a good chunk of time there where we didn't really have too many signs at the WWE shows, but now they have pretty much a whole segment for them on the show where they point out all the different signs that they see in the crowd. And so, signs and flashbulb cameras, they add like plus 25 points to wrestling. And so we need to bring that back ASAP. That was so much fun, and that was such a spectacle, and it made it look cooler. It made it look like a bigger deal. From there, we actually get Charlotte locking in the figure 8, but it's only for a second. Tiffany goes back to the injured knee of Charlotte. She does have her brace on in this matchup. Tiffany hits the moonsault, but Charlotte gets her knees up. And because of the injured knee, it looked like she also kind of did a little bit of damage to herself. And as someone that doesn't have great knees myself, you know, I can understand her pain. Charlotte jumps from the top rope at one point, hitting a natural selection on Tiffany Stratton, who was facing away from her, which was kind of cool, but it only got a 2 count. Not enough to secure the championship just yet. There were a lot of good counters. A lot of good counters in this matchup, I will say that. Even though I did say that I like the Jade and Naomi matchup more, they had a lot of good counters in this matchup. And I always like to point out and appreciate a good counter. Because that is one thing that I do want to focus on my wrestling whenever I'm in the ring. You know, those chain counters and those good graps, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean, and you know what I'm saying. From there, we get a rolling senton from the champ, and she has her in position in the corner, and she goes up to the top rope, and she hits the prettiest moonsault ever, and it is enough to keep Charlotte down, and Tiffany retains the title. Congratulations to her. That was an impressive win, knocking off Charlotte at WrestleMania. From there, we go on to the Hall of Fame segment, which is always good to see. And I'm glad that they are also starting to induct matches into the Hall of Fame. That's a really good touch, and a lot of good matches can go up into that and get the recognition that they deserve. From there, we are shown Io Shirai, Io Sky, whatever you want to call her. I still call her Io Shirai. But that's just me. She appears to be having the time of her life in a blimp, so that's always cool to see Io just hanging out. You know, if you ever want to come back to Stardom, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm sure that there's a World of Stardom Championship with your name on it. I'm just saying. But next up, it is main event time, as it is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And what an interesting feud this has been to keep up with, really, since I started to watch WWE on a consistent basis last year. It has been, just a roller coaster, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch, though. I'll tell you that much. And the video package that they had before this matchup was fire. No pun intended for Seth, okay? But the video package was fantastic. Whoever their video editor is, whoever gets all that together, give them a raise. That was some good stuff right there. And those are the type of video packages that I like to see with my wrestling. So first up, we get Seth Rollins making his way out to the ring. He comes out in the all black. He comes out with a fucking flamethrower. Insane. Like, what the hell? It reminded me of something I saw on AAA a couple years ago, actually. I don't remember who it was, but somebody came out with a guitar that was a flamethrower, and I thought that was the craziest shit I ever seen. But where are we getting these flamethrowers? I really want to know. And wasn't there a flamethrower in AEW a couple of months ago? Where are we getting these? Like, I really want to know. Like, where are you just going and you're saying, hey, so I have this wrestling show. I need a flamethrower. You need a what? What do you need that for? Jesus Christ. Who gave this man a flamethrower? But Seth has a really cool gear change. He comes out in the all black, at the right point in the song where they do the burn it down. They stop it, the lights go down, silence. Music starts to play again, lights come on, Seth, boom, he's in the all white, crowd singing, drones going. It's a dope ass visual. It's a dope ass entrance. Like I said, more drones in wrestling, please, and thank you. Next up, we get the Tribal Chief making his way out to the ring, and the panels that they had overhead showing the entire NOYE family and the bloodline. That was dope as hell and really cool to see. I thought it was a VR effect at first, or an AR effect, or whatever you want to call that. But I saw a post somewhere that they were real. They were real, and so I took a little bit of a closer look, and I could see the wires that was hanging up and, like keeping them in place. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, really think about some of this stuff sometimes. Like, how much does all this shit cost for the Fed? Because me getting into camera works, right? The guy that I work with, he said that the camera that he regularly uses had to cost about like $5,000 or something like that. And that's for a camera that's for an independent show. So how much are these cameras that the Fed has, man, where you can zoom in, still have that crystal clear image, like in the reflection of someone's glasses, but you're not standing in front of them, and you can obviously see that in the glasses, right? And just like they're set up in general with like all these big ass LED boards and lights and just all of this. How much do y'all have that goes into this? How much does all this shit cost? Because damn, that shit is expensive. Oh my God, have you seen the prices? They will make you cry for some of these cameras, and that's not even what they're using. So, like, what does that tell you? What are they using? That their shit is that much better? It's got to be running upwards of like 20, 30K or something like that. Like a whole ass cinema movie type camera. Insane. Whatever type of camera it is, it's crisp as fuck. And it's clean. And I would like to operate one at some point, but I would shit a brick and be so nervous that I would drop it or something would happen to it. I wouldn't even want to look at it. I wouldn't want to touch it. I want to use it, but I don't want to use it because, you ain't paying that off in this lifetime, my word. Good God Almighty, if something happens to that, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. But Roman Reigns makes his way out to the ring, and the small details, like Roman looking where Paul would normally stand are so good, man. The details, man. The details matter. Okay? Who the fuck? I hear voices. Yeah, I say I hear voices and they're not in my head. Anyway, I lost where I was. We are almost done with this. We are just wrapping this up. Just about done. Don't leave me just yet, people. So, Punk recreates the straight edge promo that he did at the beginning of his career. I'm sure you've seen the clip, you know. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. My only addiction is wrestling, you know, that whole shtick. So Punk recreates that to This Fire Burns. So straight edge promo, and then Living Color live performs Cult of Personality. Wrestling rules, man. Oh my God, love this shit so much. Heyman and Punk make their way out. Heyman kisses Punk on the head before it's clobbering time. And, you know, with how much Punk and Heyman were saying, you know, oh, that's my best friend. Oh, that's my best friend. I should have known that Paul would turn on Punk. I didn't see it coming, but look at his track record. And with how much they were really harping on that, oh, he's my best friend, he's my best friend, I should have seen it coming. There was another moment that I really liked before the match started with Roman Reigns taking the Ulafala off and not knowing who to give it to and looking over at Paul Heyman, but looking at him with untrusting eyes. And so that was another really good touch that I liked in this matchup, similar to Roman looking to where Paul would stand whenever he made his way out during his entrance. The match gets underway, and CM Punk pretty much immediately goes to the outside and goes to seek some advice from the Wiseman Paul Heyman. And it's not too much longer after this that we go into the crowd and we're brawling, baby. We're brawling. We get a suplex on a trash can. Punk throws a separate trash can at Seth. And it's like a plastic one. He just literally yeets it at him. Reigns, though, he's like, never mind all that, and leaps over the barricade, taking both men out. Roman is apparently thirsty, and he goes to grab the big-ass Prime bottle, and he just beats Seth with it a couple of times. And honestly, at this point, I was like, I can't even keep up with the notes for this match. Go watch it. Just go watch it. Take my advice. If you haven't seen this match, go watch it. Go watch it right now. Right now. I don't care. I don't care what you have heard, what you have seen. Go watch it. It has everything you want. It has good counters. It has crowd fighting. It has finisher spams. It has midair interceptions. Questionable decisions, like why Punk was taking his sweet ass time with dropping the elbows, but that's a whole other thing. Speared countered into the pedigree. Tables being broken. The double twist in the end. This was a main event. And we've seen how things have played out with Paul, Seth, and Braun in the weeks since this has happened. So that pegs the question. What does that mean for Backlash tonight? Now, I saw on a post somewhere that Backlash 2022 Rhea Ripley joined the Judgment Day. And Backlash last year, Tonga Loa joined the New Bloodline. So, is it possible that we could see Seth, Braun, and Paul introduce a new person into their group? Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to see. We will have to see, but I think it'd be a pretty good opportunity to do it, if I'm being real. And I would not be surprised, and I kind of hope they do, because I kind of just want to see who else they're going to throw in here, because this has been kind of interesting. This is really interesting. Seth actually name drops Mox at one point in the match, and that was so weird. Seth tries to get Roman to work together to attack Punk, but Roman says, fuck that, and power bombs both guys through the announce tables. One for you, Seth. One for you, Punk. Fuck both of you. Ooh, ah. That was literally how that went. Roman then throws Seth back into the ring, and he hits the ropes twice, hits a super spear, but it only gets a 2 count. We then trade submissions back and forth between everybody, and we get everything from Anaconda Vices to guillotines and sharpshooters. And then towards the end of the match, oh my God, this was such a good chain of events. Whew, here we go. Okay, so Punk hits the GTS on Seth, right? Roman then spears CM Punk. Seth, who is rebounding from the GTS, bounces off the ropes, and while he's bouncing off the ropes and starting to fall, he uses that momentum to hit a last-minute curb stomp on Roman Reigns while he's falling. Oh my God. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. That was wonderful. Okay? That series of events, they know what they're doing. The boys know what they're doing. They're cooking. From here, everything starts to get unraveled. And we're starting to see a little bit of a deception here. So we then go to a shot on the outside, and we see Paul Heyman going to grab a steel chair. And he's looking to make the decision as to who he's going to slide the chair into the ring to. CM Punk or Roman Reigns. He looks at Roman Reigns, and he kind of shakes his head like saying, I'm sorry. And he slides the chair into the ring towards CM Punk. He then gets onto the apron and gets into the ring. And just as Punk is going to hit Roman with the chair, Paul goes low on Punk. Oh, man. I did not see that coming. But you gotta say that it's nothing new. This is Paul Heyman we're talking about, people. This man has turned on everyone he has ever worked with. And so he goes low on CM Punk. He gets on his knees and gives the chair to Roman. Seth, who's trying to stand up in the background, mind you, while Roman has the steel chair, he attacks Punk, wallops him a couple of good times with the chair, and then Heyman points out that Seth is starting to stand up, and he turns around, right? They turn around, and just as Roman is about to swing the chair and hit Seth in the back, low blow from Paul Heyman on Roman Reigns. He hands the chair to Seth Rollins. Rollins hits Roman in the back with the steel chair again. curb stomp. Seth Rollins wins at WrestleMania. What a way to close out the show. Holy crap. This was such a good show. Like, I had a lot of fun watching this, and I think I liked night 1 a little bit more than I liked night 2. Night 2 was still pretty good, but I think night 1 was just a little bit better. And man, especially this main event here, there were so many good moments in this matchup. Especially the finisher spams. Oh my God, I was losing my mind for that. Craziest chain of events, man. But everything on this card, from top to bottom, had some good stuff in it. And I liked all the matches in retrospect. And so I would definitely give this show a recommended and tell you to go out of your way to watch it. If you have not seen WrestleMania, absolutely go ahead, watch night 1. We're going to be coming back here soon to revisit night 2 of WrestleMania. And of course, that one was headlined by Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the Undisputed WWE Championship. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, as well as a couple of other matches on that card. That's going to be really fun. Dirty Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship. That was a really, really good match. And it was really cool to see him win that championship. But we're going to talk about that when we get to it. But that is going to do it for this episode here today on the Wrestle Ramble, ladies and gentlemen. I know it is a little bit of a quicker episode. Well, not too quick, still just about an hour or so, but it's about our normal time here. But it has been a lot of fun talking about WWE and these couple of shows that I have, and so I think I might incorporate them here and there, kind of mix it up in between some of the WCW shows that I'm talking about. Which we will be continuing on with after night 2 of WrestleMania. Even though Nitro ended up not recording the way that I wanted to, that is A-okay. Next up, I actually have Thunder that I will be watching, and then from Thunder, we will be moving on to Uncensored 2000, and that is going to be absolutely bonkers, and I cannot wait to get to that. But so much wrestling, baby. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to cover, and there's no better time, there's no better place to be a wrestling fan than here and now. So if you'd like to join us here and talk about some wrestling, folks, if this is your thing, if this is what you love as much as we love it, go ahead, hit that follow button, leave us a review. It helps get us out in front of a new audience. I want to say thank you to everyone that listens to all these episodes. Thank you to everyone in the 7 countries that currently listen to the podcast. You are absolutely fantastic. You are a ray of fucking sunshine, and I love your stinking cute faces. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Wrestle Ramble, ladies and gentlemen. Join us here at Delta 131 if you have not. If you haven't joined us over on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on those post notifications so you never miss an episode when the Wrestle Ramble goes live, as we got a whole lot more coming up, folks, and I could not be happier to talk about it. But we're going to get out of here for the meantime. Enjoy Backlash tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you next time when the Wrestle Ramble goes live.